So today we got Sassy in the cross ties and we're going out alone. I tried to videotape the other day, but my battery was dead. Okay, so I just got on, checking our girth, and okay, so we're ready to go. So Sassy wasn't ridden much by herself before, so this is all new to her, but she's doing very well. She's not barn sour or anything like that. She's very willing to go out if you know how to ride, and to give her some confidence. And then you might hear my my little pooper scooper banging on her and banging into my foot, and she doesn't care about that at all. Okay? So if a person's going to ride alone with her, she just needs someone who knows how to ride and someone who can push her a little bit. But I like horses like that. The ones that are super brave and too brave, those are quite difficult to ride in groups. The ones like this that you got to push when they're alone, they're usually in groups. They're fine. They're not very competitive, which is nice. So there's lots of little jackrabbits out here. There's one in front of us if you can see it. They tend to scare a lot of the horses because they jump out. They look like a bush moving. But not Sassy. She's fine with it. Okay, so now we're headed down towards the pigs, which she likes the pigs, which is sweet. But she's just fine, not doing anything screwy. She's not trying to go home or anything like that. So we're waiting for this truck to go by. So even if horses are good with trucks, you never know if they're gonna backfire or make some weird noise. So you always make sure your reins are short and your hands are wide and you're sitting back so you're ready to steer. So we have another truck coming towards us, so I'm just getting out of the way. You can hear it making noise. Good girl. It's all right. Yeah. See, I can get out of the way. I try because they don't always slow down. She's watching the horse across the street like, what's wrong with him? He's blind, Sassy. So he doesn't see us. So there's little markers on the trees that are blowing in the wind. You can see those, but you see she doesn't care. I ride her with some contact to keep her head straight and her paying attention. But that's how you should ride most of the walking horses, unless they have really short strides. Because they don't do so well when you ride them on a loose rein like this. You can do it at times, but a lot of them, because they can do so much with their legs, tend to look around and then they're not paying attention. So you know that horse, and then it stays in gait well. You want to ride it with like an English shorter rein, so your hands are kind of up in front of the saddle. Then you ride with two hands, and then you use your half halts to control your speed. She has a very big stride, which I love, because you cover a lot of area in a short period of time, because she has such a big step. So she gaits really nice, but you don't even need to, because you're going to cover the area quite fast anyhow, even if she's just walking slow. So we got the smelly goats on the right, so I'm shortening up a little more, because if they stand up or get too smelly, it scares most every single horse that I've had here. But she's doing good. Good girl. And those of you who've been here, you know how bad they smell. So I didn't get the camera on quick enough, so the dog charged the fence and her heart's beating fast. You're okay. And she had a little booger in her eye. Of course, that's annoying. So, but she didn't do anything. She just stopped in place and looked at the annoying dog. You'll see he jumps on the fence and everything. Then he runs around and he's going to go to the gate. Or she is. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. Now she's making noise in the leaves, so that would spook a lot of horses. And Sassy's like, that dog's an idiot. He's got nothing to do all day except wait for us. Okay. Good girl. So she just looked at something, but you saw nothing bad, just her head came up. I do lunge her before I ride her because she's in a stall and paddock, and I think you should lunge every horse or run them around in the round pen for a couple of reasons. One, to make sure they're sound before you ride them. You don't want to ride your horse when it's lame and just make it worse. And to get some energy out and to get them warmed up. It's just like you stretching before you go out for a walk or a run. So lots of people don't like to do that, but you want to see what energy your horse has. And if you want to ride for a long period of time, that's the safest way to do it, is to always run them around before you get on them, see what their energy level is. If it's not much, well, then you don't have to do it that long. If it's a lot, well, then you lunge them or round pen them until they're calm. And then when you ride your horse on trail, they're a lot less spooky, they're less jumpy, they have less energy, so they won't pull as much. If it's a barn sour horse, it won't like home as much. Then everything's better. So she's looking over, there's horses out in the field over there, but all she's doing is just looking at them. Okay. So there's sheep or goats in that back left field over there. I don't know if you can see them. This goat program is great. The only thing I wish it had like zoom, that I could tell it to zoom in. So we have cows over on our right that we're going to stop and look at for a minute. Sassy hasn't seen a lot of cows, so when she first saw them, she was scared, and then you know, we worked on it, and now you see she's much better. She gave a little snort. Good girl, it's okay. So she's just looking at them. But you see she's not doing anything bad. But she's doing good, for she hasn't seen them that many times. I think this is her third time, and they're always in different spots or laying or moving differently. So for a horse that hasn't seen cows much, she's doing really good. Okay, so we're going to sit here for a little bit because I can expose them to stuff. I like them to stay here for a while. So when they take a big snort like that, that's them trying to get a big whiff of what the animal is, to figure it out, just so you know, in case you don't know what that is. But you can see I'm sitting on a totally loose rein here with her, and she's relaxed. She's just checking it out. So good girl. Good job. Good job, Sassy. So you want to make it a pleasant experience, a good experience, and help them to get over their fears. And if you do it right, you keep making a great horse. You do it wrong, you make a bad horse and scare them. So that's why you want to take your time when you know it's a new thing. Cows, pigs, goats, people, bikes, whatever it is. All right, we're going to hang here some longer. So we've been standing here for a while, so now we're going to go, Sassy. I'm walking down here, so I'm a little bit close to the fence, but I'm watching those cows. It's your job to protect your horse and help it. So you want to know where the cows are and what they're doing so they don't run up behind you and jump up and down behind your horse. And if you didn't know cows do that, they do. Especially when there's babies, they start playing around and they like to chase you and all sorts of stuff. So you want to be there to help your horse, not scare it. So you want to be ready for that stuff to help them. Okay, but you see she's fine. She's not trying to run away from them. She's not even going fast. Alright, go for it. Okay, so we're coming up on the dog obstacle course, but there's no dogs here today. That's it. So that might scare some horses. She's been by and has been fine each time. So there's a little puddle here. I don't know what she spooked at, but it wasn't the puddle. Good girl. She went through the puddle. She's like, I don't know why you want to do that. But you saw I like people to see how they spook, and she just spooks in place. That's what she does. Okay. All horses can spook, no matter how good they are, and sometimes it's great that they spook, because if something goes to hit you or a tree falls, if your horse doesn't get out of the way, well, guess what? You're not getting out of the way either. So lots of horses spook. You just want to know how they spook and is it something that you can handle. But she just spooks in place, which might scare you, but I haven't had her do anything goofy. But I also know how to ride, so I'm ready if she does try to do something else. You know, I'm not riding on a loose, sloppy rein, oblivious to what's going on. Okay, lots of stuff we're passing. And there's dogs up there. We'll get to them in a minute. You'll see they're jumping on the fence. They're being scary. And it's a Rottweiler and a German Shepherd. She's like, those are guard dogs. Right? So she's a little nervous. No, leave it. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. Nope, leave it. Nope. Talk to all the animals. She told you to leave it. So they're following us down the fence. Sassy's doing great, but she did stop and didn't want to go forward, and I had to just kind of urge her forward with my legs. And I bumped her a little bit with my spurs, and then she went. See, if you didn't know how to ride, you might not be able to get a horse past those things. Now, if she was following somebody, she would have been totally fine, but again, she's alone and she's not used to doing this. Good girl. It's okay. You're okay. So now we got the wall, and sometimes there's llamas behind there and other things they can't see, but they can hear. So I hear her snorting. She's doing that. She's trying to smell what's behind there. Good girl. So, and I know it's not a mountain lion or anything. It's probably just another dog or a llama or a goat or something. So see. Good girl. But nothing screwy. So there's some weird wire fencing over here. A little weird wood chips. She's fine with all that stuff. So it sounds like the dogs are closer to the fence, which they haven't been. Up. They're back. So they used to be in the back. So this might be scarier because sometimes they jump on the fence. Come on, it's good to see you. Yeah, you got out. Come on, let's go. Let's go down the fence. Good girl. Come on, let's go. Good job. So, and then we got another dog down there. That's what she's watching. She don't care about these guys anymore. Now they're getting in a brawl. They always do that and then they stop. So I tell people, you know, I take them out on trail. I don't have video of her going out on the trail yet, but I will. Going down these roads is much harder than most people's trails because we get chased by dogs sometimes. There's cars coming out, people working on their houses. The horses can hear them. There's goats, all sorts of stuff. And she's like, I don't know if I want to go by there. I hear something on the right. She sees the dog, but something is going on the right up here too at somebody's house. Remember, your horse can hear from miles away, so this dog might chase us down the fence too. So, yeah, if they can tolerate this stuff, the trails with like the bikes and the hikers and nice people, it's really not that hard. This is difficult. Usually when people come ride with me, sometimes this scares the hell out of them. Okay, but she did good. She went by everything. It just took a minute. She's fine. They're building in their house up there, so it might have been something with that noise. So this is where the mastiffs are, and they're both out, sitting like statues. So again, sometimes they get up, charge the fence, leap up in the air, and that'll scare the horses. Okay, now they're up. Good job, Walter. Yep, you got us good. So you saw she spooked, and I just turned her towards them. That's why you want to be aware of your surroundings. The horses see differently. You know, I knew it was a dog. She didn't even see them. And so the more I am ready for it, the more I can help her with it. There's a car coming. How'd you get out? I think that one could get through the fence, but it did. So sometimes you get stuff on all sides. Dogs, cars, trucks, whatever. So, and Sassy knows me now. She knows I'm going to help her. She knows I'm not oblivious. So, you know, if you're trying to get your horse used to stuff and you're scared and you don't pay attention, well, that horse is not going to trust you. That horse is just going to get more and more nervous. So, then you might be someone who needs a super brave horse if you're going to ride alone. But again, that might give you issues when you're in a group. So, you got to decide what you can handle. You know? Another little spook, but nothing really. So now we're going to hang out for a bit. It's a car, Sassy. So you see, she just jumps in place, but she needs someone who, if they're going to ride alone, that they're not afraid. Because if you're afraid and they get nervous, then they get more afraid because they're like, why are you afraid? You know, I was a little afraid, but now I'm really afraid because you're really afraid. So you got to be someone who's relaxed and calm, right? Another beacon, which is good. All right, we're going to hang for a bit, and then we're going to go back. So it's giving Sassy a break and just walking for a bit. So the horses get used to me getting on and off, and the goats happen to be over here. There she is. And the goats are being goofy. They're climbing the trees and stuff. And so I want her to get a good look at them, so we're going to go over. Come on. Oh, are all the goats going to run? And she's watching them. These goats can be a little skittish. Come on. They're more afraid of you. Good girl. Yeah, now they're all running away. This is what she's doing while they're running away. Which is scary for a horse. But she's like, I just wanted to be friends. Right? Chickens. Alright, she did good. We had some dog stages high. I was trying to help her catch them. And she finally got them. That's a load to carry back.
I feel like this is me every day now.
Oh, I didn't want them to get hit by a car, so he stopped and waited. The dogs ran all around Sassy, and you can see Sassy doesn't care, and she's walking. Stay back a little more. Walking well behind me. She lets those dogs go. They just might run after us again. But Sassy was good. The little poodle, she's like, are you sure they're okay? The little poodle ran right under her feet, and she never lifted a leg or did anything mean or spooky, did you? You're a good girl. Okay, so now I'm getting back on her. We're headed back towards home. So this would be the time, if your horse was bad, that it would walk off. You see, she's on loose rein. I'm hooking up my vest. She's just standing here. Good girl. Okay, now we're gonna walk off. So for all the drama with the dogs, she's very good. She's learning how to go slow. She will go faster if you push her. But I always like to make sure that they will go slow if the person needs them to. And she's doing really well. So big RV. Okay, so we're coming up on the cows again. Some of you never see cows. Oops, she went a little fast there. But some of you do have cows. Right? So she's looking at them because now they've all moved. Somebody's revving an engine behind us. Now when one's closer to the fence. Yeah, it's okay. So there's her dragon call. But now she walked off on her own. I didn't even push her. She did that little snort. And she might do that again as we get closer, because again, she's smelling them. You know, what are these things? So your horse might be fine with cows too, but as they get closer, of course, it's scarier for them. So, you know, if you see them far away, it doesn't always mean they're great with them close up. Good girl. So now I'm going to stop her just so she can look at them more. That's what she's doing. Remember, their eyes are on the side of their head, so they're going to look at each direction. You'll see my hands are ready in case she went to do something. She's got a little bit of a wiggly lip. Good girl. So now she just walked off on her own. Mares are very safety cautious. Remember, they're lead horses. Good girl. Now I stopped her again. She didn't stop, but she's getting closer on her own. Good girl. So I wanted to get a good look at it. Good girl. It's all right. She did good. She did check it out. She's like, okay, I'm done with that. Now we got more dogs chasing us. Today is dog chase day. So a lot of times that snorting scares the hell out of people. It's just a normal horse thing. They're just smelling like, what's coming after me? Is it a mountain lion? Let me take a big whiff. No, it's not. So see, she gave a big snort, and again, that scares people, but now look at her. She's just back to normal, okay? There's a dog up on the hill. Oh, and we got the UPX truss. Let's move out of the way. So see, all sorts of things going on at the same time. Cows, dogs chasing us, the truck. So I'm getting room because that's a lot of stress. And the cows are moving, and this is probably going to bang some. But she did good, you know. Sometimes your horse is fine with one thing, but all three things happen at the same time. Squeaky brakes. And then, you know, your horse loses it. Not Sassy. Sassy's like, no, I'm fine. But that's a lot, so you want to be prepared and know, you know, sometimes a horse is fine with one dog, but 5 dogs come, they're out of there, you know. Or 3 deer is fine, but 7 deer, that's a little too much. So, you know, you just got to work on it, but you prepare. You see how I get them room, and I have space, so if the horse spooks, I have an area to work. And if I don't have space, you know, I try to be as cautious as I can, or I might jump off to help them, right? You can't help the horse if you fall off and get hurt. So it's better to, if you're scared or you're like, this is a lot, you get off, help them from the ground, and then get back on. You haven't lost anything. Like I said in that other video, remember, horses help each other. You'll see them in the wild go through creeks, they'll go through stuff with crocodiles and all this crazy stuff because they're in a herd, but nobody's getting on, no other horses crawling on their back like, oh, go across and carry me and be brave. So the fact they let us up here is a miracle in itself. Still don't exactly know why they do that, but they do, and it's kind, and so we should be kind back and help them. I'm like, Gaye, is this a trail ride or a speech? Both. I want everybody to help the horses, okay? Help them, don't hurt them. Okay, so now we got the UPS truck coming up behind us again. You're okay. Good girl. So that was closer that time. So she was a little more nervous, but still very good, right? And it kept revving its engine like that when it was coming up behind us. Good girl. Let's see another truck coming. Okay, almost home. You did a good job. Just because there's people cutting trees over there on that high lift thing, if you can see my finger. Yeah, it's going up in the air. She's like, when does it stop? There's so much. She's like, and the pigs are probably waiting for us. Yeah. Chainsaw, tree stuff. So she got a little fast, but again, nothing bad. Keep turning the camera off, but stuff keeps happening. So here's your piggy friend. Here they come. You're only friends out here. Good girl. Yeah, now she can see the tree cutters. You want one? Okay, you're the only one. Oops. There he goes. Alright. Gay's not such a good shot.